Hey, Austin police! Stop! Come here. You guys said this is your vehicle?
Yeah.
What's going on? Come here. Come out of the woods.
At around 3:30 that morning, officers from the Austin Police Department were patrolling near the 700 block of A.Y. Morton Road, a quiet stretch bordering a public park. During the patrol, officers located a stolen vehicle parked nearby and requested a tow truck to recover it. Senior Officer Adam Reinhardt remained on scene to supervise the tow while the other units continued their patrol. The area was calm and silent until two figures suddenly emerged from the darkness near the tree line. They were later identified as Kay Smith and her boyfriend, Brandon Thompson. Officer Reinhardt issued a standard command, instructing them to show their hands. What followed unfolded in seconds.
I didn't go get my other shoes on.
No, you guys can come out of the woods real quick. Come over here. You're detained. You're not free to go.
I can't fucking see anything.
I know. That's why I got my flashlight. Get your hand out of your pocket, man.
Other shoes on.
No, you guys can come out of the woods real quick. Come over here. You're detained. You're not free to go.
I can't see anything.
I know. That's why I got my flashlight. Get your hand out of your pocket, man.
What?
Get your hand out of your pocket. David, having shots fired. Shots fired. I have two down. I'm hit.
Without warning, Thompson, 30 years old and previously known to police for drug-related and theft charges, many of which had been dismissed, pulled out a handgun. In a shocking act, he turned the weapon on Smith and shot her once in the back of the head. Almost immediately after, he fired at Officer Reinhardt, striking him before fleeing toward the nearby brush. Despite being wounded, Reinhardt returned fire as backup units rushed toward the scene. Emergency responders arrived and transported both Smith and Reinhardt to the hospital. Smith remained in critical condition. Doctors worked to save her life, but after a week on life support, she was pronounced dead on September 17th. Officer Reinhardt underwent surgery and ultimately survived his injuries. But the shooting triggered a massive citywide response. SWAT teams, K-9 units, and police helicopters were deployed, and residents in surrounding neighborhoods were ordered to shelter in place. Meanwhile, Thompson, injured and attempting to evade capture, tried to force his way into a nearby home. The homeowner, armed and aware of the unfolding situation, confronted him and fired in self-defense, striking Thompson in the arm and leg. Thompson was taken into custody at the scene and transported to the hospital under police supervision. He now faces multiple serious charges, including first-degree murder for the death of Kay Smith, attempted capital murder of a peace officer, and burglary. He remains held without bond in the Travis County Jail while awaiting trial. In the weeks that followed, public attention turned toward Thompson's criminal history. Records showed multiple prior cases that had been dismissed or reduced under Travis County's more lenient prosecution policies, reigniting debate over whether earlier intervention could have prevented this outcome. What began as a routine patrol tied to a stolen vehicle ended with one woman dead, an officer nearly losing his life, and an entire neighborhood locked down in fear. While Officer Reinhardt survived and the homeowner's actions prevented further harm, critical questions remain unanswered, most notably why Thompson shot his girlfriend and whether she was intentionally targeted or struck amid chaos. A quiet park patrol should never end this way, and this case stands as a stark reminder of how quickly ordinary situations can spiral and how the consequences of unresolved patterns can turn tragic in an instant. And while cases like this are rooted in harsh reality, the next clip steps into territory that's far harder to explain. Quick interruption. If you're enjoying this video, why not hit that subscribe button? We're on a mission to hit 500,000 subscribers, and when we do, 3 lucky fans will win a limited edition CreepyVids hoodie or shirt. Right now, 61.4% of you watching haven't subscribed yet. It's completely free, and your support helps us make even more awesome videos. So, don't miss out. Subscribe now, and let's get back to the video. Jake is well known from his YouTube channel Jake Ghost Hunter, where he explores abandoned locations and documents what he encounters along the way. In June 2024, he and a friend decided to explore the ruins of the old Liberty High School in Ohio City, Ohio. It was the kind of location he had visited many times before, but this time, the night would take an unexpected turn, one so unsettling that even responding police officers would leave confused.
Hello? Holy well. Someone just got thrown, dog. What? Can you walk towards us? Whoa, bat.
Where, dude?
Bird.
What the hell is that?
It's a bat, I think.
It is a bat. Oh.
Oh no, this isn't good.
Just minutes into the exploration, the atmosphere inside the building began to shift. Unexplained sounds echoed through the hallways, movement that didn't seem to have a clear source. At first, they tried to brush it off, assuming it was the building settling or distant noise. But the feeling of unease continued to grow.
If you could just speak into that device on the table, that'd be cool. Can you tell me who you are? It said rewind at the end, dude. It wants me to rewind.
Jake! Oh my god, Jake!
Was that inside?
Yeah.
Shh. Get down here now. Now get down here, dude.
No, you come with me, bro. That was on my level.
Call the cops on my phone now. Call the cops. Call the fucking cops. Call the fucking cops.
What sounded like gunshots rang out inside the building. Fearing that someone else might be inside, or that they could be in immediate danger, Jake and his friend rushed out and contacted the police. Officers arrived and entered the school to investigate, expecting a possible criminal situation. What they encountered inside, however, didn't match that assumption.
Did you hear it over here? Like I heard it on that staircase.
I heard the noises, like, I don't know, because I was in the damn box. So
You didn't hear the noises, like the gunshots?
No, that's why I screamed.
Jake!
I was literally in that window doing an EVP session, and they were right here. And dude, your thing said homicide twice. Your device said homicide twice.
Something in there.
Are you serious?
For real?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean?
Like, what?
Let me just.
For real?
So right there on the second floor,
Yes.
we were looking this way. I heard pitter patter, like that, along that. What would that be? The east wall.
Yeah.
And then he hears it at the end of the hallway. And as I'm taking my light down, I see something go like dark across.
Are you guys dead ass?
Swear.
You have
And then we were
Bodycam?
like, no. But we were talking about you guys. We were like, let's just black out for a second.
The officers emerged in visible distress. Whatever they had experienced inside convinced them to retreat immediately. They ran from the building, shaken, unable to clearly explain what had caused such a reaction. In the aftermath, Jake, his friend, and the officers all left the scene, abandoning the building entirely. To this day, no official explanation has been given for what was heard or seen inside Liberty High School that night, leaving the incident unresolved and deeply unsettling. Not every disturbing moment is unexplained, and the next case proves just how clear the risks can be. On September 19, 2025, what should have been an ordinary commute home turned into a fatal tragedy for 30-year-old Gerardo Jerry Estrada on the busy streets of Highland Park in Los Angeles.
Yeah, Christian Bailey, remember? Yeah, last season. I don't know Charlie Parker not, but I know a guy in a light arrested him a while back. Oh, okay. He was like into like the whole legal theft.
Estrada, a bartender at a local beer garden and a filmmaker and photographer in his spare time, was skateboarding southbound along the center median, something he regularly did to move through the neighborhood after work. At the same time, LAPD officers were driving northbound in a patrol cruiser with lights and sirens activated, responding to a request to help establish a perimeter for a parole suspect wanted on a felony warrant. The cruiser was moving quickly through congested traffic, weaving between lanes, bypassing red lights, and at times drifting onto the wrong side of the road in an attempt to cut through gridlock.
Yeah, he's more like a thief. Yeah. Oh, shit! That's all that. Oh, shit! Oh, shit! The next thing I said, we have an I response to roadside to Figueroa for Officer TC involved.
It's 97 is requesting a...
He's over here! He's over here! If it is male, not conscious, not breathing, subject from TC collision with vehicle. Then I was trying to super respond in the T unit.
The impact was violent. Witnesses at a nearby carnival heard the collision from a distance. What had been an evening filled with music, lights, and crowds instantly turned into chaos. Estrada was thrown forward and became pinned beneath a parked vehicle near the median. Officers stopped immediately, pulled him from underneath the car, and began CPR as stunned bystanders looked on.
Start my camera.
Paramedics arrived shortly after, but despite their efforts, Estrada was pronounced dead at the scene from severe blunt force trauma. As of late November 2025, the LAPD investigation remains ongoing. No charges have been filed, and the officers involved have not been publicly disciplined, leaving Estrada's family and community demanding answers. Critics have raised serious concerns about emergency driving practices, particularly in dense urban environments where pedestrians, cyclists, and public events are present. Reports note that the cruiser's rapid lane changes and drifting movements may have been influenced by divided attention, as footage showed officers speaking casually moments before the crash. National data shows that thousands of civilians have died in police-related vehicle collisions over the years, and for many, this case underscores a painful reality. Even during emergency responses, public safety must remain the priority. Estrada wasn't fleeing, threatening, or interfering. He was simply trying to get home. And while that tragedy raises serious questions about urgency versus safety, the next encounter shows how quickly a routine stop can turn unsettling in a completely different way. On the night of June 5, 2023, officers on a highway in Brazil pulled over a vehicle after reports of a strange disturbance coming from the back seat. At first, it seemed like it might be a routine stop, possibly an argument, someone intoxicated, or a passenger in distress. But as one of the officers stepped closer to the car, he could hear low, guttural sounds coming from inside, growing louder with each step. When he shined his flashlight into the vehicle, what he saw immediately changed the tone of the encounter. In the back seat sat a woman, but something about her was deeply unsettling. Her eyes appeared vacant, almost lifeless, while her face held a fixed, unnatural smile. She muttered words that were difficult to understand, sounds that didn't resemble normal speech. Her body moved in irregular, uncomfortable ways, bending and shifting in a manner that didn't seem voluntary, as if she wasn't fully in control of herself. The officer instinctively backed away. Whatever he was witnessing didn't resemble a typical medical emergency or intoxication. The atmosphere shifted instantly, replaced by a sense of unease that's hard to explain. The kind of feeling that tells you something is very wrong, even if you can't immediately say what. There's very little verified information available about what happened after this moment. I couldn't find any official reports clarifying whether the woman was experiencing a medical condition, a psychological episode, substance-related effects, or something else entirely. And because of that, the clip has been left open to interpretation. All I know is that the encounter was disturbing enough to leave both officers and viewers unsettled. And without clear answers, we're left to wonder what was really happening in that car, and how the woman's story continued after the camera stopped recording. Sometimes the most unsettling part isn't what we see, but what we're never told. Whatever was happening with that woman, one thing is clear: roadside encounters leave no room for comfort, and this next case shows how deadly that reality can be. On August 10th, 2025, what began as a routine traffic stop on Interstate 26 in Orangeburg County, South Carolina, slowly unfolded into a tragedy no one on that highway could have anticipated. At approximately 2 a.m., Officer Dennis Ricks pulled over a white Nissan Altima that had been weaving between lanes, raising concerns of distracted driving. The driver admitted he had been watching a television show, reportedly Breaking Bad, while driving, explaining the erratic behavior. Ricks, wearing a reflective vest, conducted the stop from the shoulder's safety zone, exactly where officers are trained to stand.
Hello. How you doing? I'm good. I'm Trooper Dennis Ricks of the South Carolina Highway Patrol. The reason I was stopping is because you keep hitting your lane or the line there on the roadway. Are you okay? Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I know I shouldn't do that.
Yeah,
I'll take it down, but
please do.
Yes,
Okay, so somebody's also calling in saying you were touching the line, and I witnessed you touching the line.
I understand.
I see you watching, was that Breaking Bad?
Unfortunately,
it's a good show, but
Number of sellers.
It's not.
Call 911! Call 911!
Without warning, a box truck driven by 45-year-old Anthony Adedlet drifted across the fog line. The truck slammed into Ricks's patrol vehicle and then struck Ricks himself, throwing him violently across the pavement. Adedlet later called 911 claiming Ricks had been standing in the roadway and that he tried to swerve, but dashcam footage contradicted that account, clearly showing the trooper positioned fully on the shoulder. First responders arrived quickly and found Ricks alive but critically injured. Severe weather prevented a medical helicopter from flying, so he was transported by ambulance to a hospital in North Charleston. Despite emergency surgery, Ricks died 3 days later on August 13, 2025. He left behind his wife, Jade, who later described him as compassionate, patient, and deeply committed to his duty. Investigators revealed that Adedlet had a suspended license and a long history of traffic violations dating back decades. He was arrested and charged with reckless homicide and driving under suspension. As of late November 2025, he remains in custody at the Orangeburg County Jail, unable to post the $225,000 bond. This case highlights the extreme danger of roadside stops, especially on high-speed interstates during early morning hours. Without strict attention to move over laws and responsible driving, even routine stops can become deadly. It's the kind of danger that needs no mystery. But what you're about to see next is unsettling for a different reason. There's no clear explanation at all. A security guard was patrolling a remote construction site late at night, the kind of place that feels abandoned once the workday ends. The site was empty, silent, and poorly lit. No workers, no machinery running, no reason for anyone else to be there. As part of his routine, the guard checked the security monitors, expecting to see nothing more than himself walking past the fence. Instead, he also noticed other movements. The dark shape didn't move like a person or an animal. As the guard stepped to the left side of the frame, the shape appeared to twist and distort, changing form as it moved. And then, just as quickly, it vanished completely. There was no sound, no clear source, no obvious explanation. The footage doesn't show anyone entering or leaving the site, and nothing else on camera appears disturbed. That sudden appearance and disappearance is what has unsettled so many viewers. Some believe it could be a shadow caused by lighting or a camera artifact. Others think it might be an animal moving unusually fast through the frame. But those who have studied the clip closely point out how unnatural the movement looks. The speed, the shift in shape, and the way it seems to react to the guard's presence. Whether this was something physical, a technical anomaly, or something far harder to explain remains unknown. The guard never reported seeing anything directly with his own eyes, only what appeared on the monitor, and sometimes what you don't see in front of. Now, while that footage leaves you guessing, this next story is a reminder that panic alone can be just as deadly. On May 10th, 2025, a 19-year-old found himself in a situation that escalated far beyond what anyone could have imagined, turning a simple drive into a fatal tragedy on Seattle's Ship Canal Bridge. In the early morning hours, the teenager was inside a speeding vehicle without license plates, traveling northbound on I-5. Washington State Patrol troopers were conducting emphasis patrols aimed at street racing and reckless driving, a common problem along that stretch of roadway. At approximately 1:48 a.m., a trooper attempted to stop the vehicle. Instead of pulling over, the driver accelerated. Seconds later, the car slammed into two other vehicles on the bridge. The impact was so severe that the car lost its front right tire, yet still traveled a short distance before grinding to a stop against the barrier.
With a vehicle, and he's crashing out 453 Seattle North 5, north of Lakeview. He's start emergency traffic. He's just before Ship Canal. 453 Seattle, I'm in pursuit, pitting the vehicle.
453, pitting the vehicle, 025.
Step out of the vehicle! Hey! Do not stop! Get out! Then put your hands up now! Put your hands up! Stay right there! Do you understand? Stay right there! Turn around! Turn around, walk back to the sound of my voice!
453 at gunpoint.
4531 at gunpoint, 026.
They're right there!
Is it available for 520?
Who else is in the car?
453 Tower, I have the driver out of the vehicle. Passenger jumped over the bridge.
Good!
Verify over ship canal.
Stay right there, do you understand?
With police approaching and the vehicle disabled, panic appeared to take over. The 19-year-old exited the car and jumped from the bridge, a fall of roughly 182 feet. He was pronounced dead on impact.
No, we were just having a chill night out. I don't know why he did. I'm gonna be so for real with you. I don't know why he did what he did.
Did he take anything? Or?
No. I guess he was just on his little kick and was like, all right, cool, I could try to get away. And I was like, by the time I knew what was going on, I looked up and I saw two cars in front of us. I looked at him, I said, I'm lucky I'm unscathed.
Did he say anything?
Nope.
What did he do?
He just got out the driver's seat, hopped out the car, and I guess hopped off the bridge.
The second 19-year-old passenger was detained but later released. Remarkably, no one in the other vehicles involved was injured. Investigators confirmed the car was not stolen, but as of late 2025, they have not determined who was driving or why the teens chose to flee. The bridge has been linked to multiple fatal incidents involving crashes and falls, raising ongoing concerns about safety barriers and preventive measures. Troopers emphasized there was no high-speed chase. The attempted evasion ended almost immediately after the collision. Still, even a brief moment of fear can lead to irreversible decisions. Whether driven by panic, shock, or fear of consequences, jumping from a bridge of that height offers no chance of survival. What began as a traffic stop ended as a permanent loss, another reminder of how quickly chaos can replace ordinary moments. Now, from a moment of chaos on a bridge, we move to footage where everything looks normal, except it shouldn't be happening. This eerie video was captured at an airport during a late-night security patrol. A lone guard was monitoring the terminal when he noticed something that immediately stopped him in his tracks. There was no airplane docked at the gate, no arrival scheduled, and yet he saw this. The guard recorded what appeared to be passengers calmly exiting through a jet bridge, a tunnel that wasn't connected to any aircraft. One by one, figures moved as if disembarking from a flight that simply wasn't there. What made the scene even more disturbing was how normal it looked. The movement appeared orderly, deliberate, exactly how passengers would exit a real plane. But physically, there was nothing for them to be stepping out of. Some believe the footage shows a technical illusion or reflection. Others suggest a security glitch or visual artifact. And then there are those who believe it could be something far more unsettling. Echoes of past travelers, spirits of passengers who never reached their destination. To this day, no official explanation has clarified what was captured that night. So, what's your theory? A malfunction? A trick of the camera? Or something that shouldn't have been there at all? Now, while you're forming your theory on that one, the next story brings us back to a very real confrontation, where seconds decide survival. On January 18, 2023, a quiet evening on the 1300 block of West 91st Street in Washington Heights took a violent turn. Precious Dunn, an off-duty Chicago police officer who had joined the force just months earlier, was inside her apartment when a loud argument broke out nearby. The confrontation sounded volatile, the kind that can escalate quickly if left unchecked. Acting on instinct and training, Dunn stepped outside and asked the group to calm down and disperse. Most complied. The street began to clear. For a brief moment, it appeared the situation had resolved itself. One man remained behind, 39-year-old Levon Smith. According to reports, he was upset over a dispute involving a bag. As the others walked away, Dunn turned back toward her building, believing the danger had passed. It hadn't.
Kill me. Watch this. I'm sorry. You got me. Okay. Dang, you shot me for real. Damn, baby, I'm sorry. Okay. Let's go right now. Okay, I'm sorry. Damn, baby. Now you gonna tell me it's for the jail. Damn, I'm sorry. Call the police, Call the police right now. I'm sorry, baby. Don't go down there if I shoot you, didn't I? Yeah, you did. Didn't I? I don't want it that way. Didn't I? I don't want it that way. Yeah, baby. Didn't I just say I shit? Didn't I just say that shit? Didn't I just say that shit? Didn't I? I'm sorry. You just... I don't want to die, baby, please. You! Call the police, I just said somebody! Dumb ass! Just told you I'd shoot your ass! Tried to rob me!
With no room to retreat and the confrontation escalating rapidly, Smith attempted to physically engage her and reach for her firearm. In a struggle that left no margin for delay, Dunn fired at close range. She was able to break free and immediately called 911. Aside from a minor cut above her eye, she was not seriously injured.
Tried to help your dumb ass. Call the police, he just tried to rob me.
I'm sorry, baby.
Call the police. Now, you thought I was clear? I told you I'll shoot you. He tried to steal a gun from me. Call the police. Yes. Call the police.
Just let him go.
No, call the police right now. Police.
Damn.
He just tried to rob me. He got a whole surprise. Hey, you okay, mama? Yeah. I just saw his brother. He just tried to rob me.
Call the police, guys. Come here.
I just got you something.
All right, put the gloves on, baby. Please, call the police, baby. Don't
I just told you I was trying to help you.
I apologize, baby.
You dumbass. I just tried to help you.
I'm waiting for that. Be pumping.
I told your dumbass I'd shoot you. You tried to steal my gun. Hey, what you doing, man? You alright, though? I don't give no about him. He just tried to rob me. Oh, damn. Damn! I gotta go to work today, your dumbass just got me in trouble.
What happened?
He just tried to rob me. I'm trying to help him. He just tried to help him. He tried to steal my gun. The you thought I wouldn't go shoot this bitch?
Mom.
You didn't, did you?
Smith was transported to the hospital, but succumbed to his injuries 2 days later, on January 20th. The Cook County State's attorney reviewed the case and declined to file charges, ruling that Dunn acted in self-defense. Surveillance footage and forensic evidence supported that finding, showing Smith initiating the attack and repeatedly attempting to take her weapon. Even so, the incident sparked debate. Some questioned whether an off-duty officer should intervene in street disputes at all, particularly in a city already sensitive to police use of force cases. Others pointed out that attempting to disarm an officer instantly transforms any confrontation into a deadly situation. Smith's family later filed a civil lawsuit alleging excessive force, keeping the case in public discussion. Investigators, however, remained clear on one point. The moment Smith reached for the gun, the situation changed irrevocably, turning a heated argument into a split-second fight for survival. Now, from a fight for control, to footage where control seems to disappear entirely. This video was captured by a CCTV camera inside the parking garage of a police station and later shared by Ecuador's official police channel. At first, everything appears routine. An officer parks his vehicle, locks it, and walks away to begin his shift. Then something unexpected happens. Without anyone inside and with the keys no longer in the ignition, the vehicle begins to move forward on its own. The motion is subtle at first, but unmistakable. There's no visible force, no incline obvious enough to explain it, and no one nearby who could have pushed it. The incident left the officer and his colleagues confused. After reviewing the footage together, several officers reportedly began sharing their own unsettling experiences inside the same garage. Stories of strange sounds, unexplained movement, and an uncomfortable atmosphere that many had noticed over time. Whether this was caused by a mechanical issue, gravity, or something harder to explain remains unclear. But the footage sparked ongoing discussion about whether the garage holds more than just parked vehicles. What do you think caused the car to move? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. As strange as that was, this last case brings us back to a reality officers face constantly: the split second between compliance and chaos. On December 16, 2025, a routine disturbance call at the Campora Farm labor camp near Soledad, California, escalated into a life-threatening encounter in a matter of seconds. Around 1:20 a.m., residents contacted the Monterey County Sheriff's Office after reporting a white Honda sedan moving through the camp erratically, blasting loud music, and raising concerns that the driver may be armed. When Deputy Carlos Pina, a 10-year veteran of the department, arrived and made contact with the vehicle, the situation shifted almost immediately. What unfolded left little room for interpretation. Instead of complying with commands, 20-year-old Rudy Rosas raised a short-barreled AR-15 inside the car and attempted to aim it toward the deputy. The decision point lasted only seconds. Deputy Pina fired 3 rounds through the windshield, stopping the perceived threat. Rosas was struck in the head, face, and hand. Emergency responders arrived quickly, and he was transported to the hospital in critical condition. He survived, but remained hospitalized for an extended period, reportedly unable to speak while undergoing treatment. As of the most recent updates, no official information has been released regarding his long-term recovery.
He sees a guy raising an AR after the guy's been told to stop and show his hands, and the guy instead raises his weapon, and the officer reacted.
We have a young man, graduated high school, never in trouble before, not as a juvenile, not as an adult. From all the information I have, doesn't have any police contacts, no gang involvement.
Investigators later confirmed that the rifle was an illegal ghost gun with no serial number, along with a concealed, loaded handgun found inside the vehicle. Dash camera footage became central to the investigation, capturing the moment the rifle was raised. Without that video, the interpretation of the encounter could have been very different. While questions remain about why Rosas was armed or what led him to ignore commands, authorities emphasized that the presence of the weapon and the act of raising it defined the encounter. In situations like this, investigators noted, the margin between hesitation and survival can be measured in seconds. Now that was all for today, folks. If you enjoyed these horrifying clips, click to see more on the video on screen.